Dolphier seems to be the man of most experience around here, so I'll ask him where this auger thing is. Yeah, he's probably asleep, but...
Oh, there was a great rumble outside this morning. Did you feel it? Surely it must have been a giant riding a carriage, or a flying ship.
Could have been a dragon.
Yes, but that's far too ordinary. Maybe not yesterday, but now, very much so. Unless it was a water dragon, a dragonfish whose breath was steam. Of course, it's more fish than dragon, and more bug than fish. It feasts on wood, and its diet consists solely of mortal-made ships.
Sounds like you've been drinking that flipping tree sap the lunatics rave about.
Oh, I would never try anything like that. Won't even drink a bottle of ale. I need my mind absolutely clear so I know what I see is real.
So what magic do you study?
The field of unknown and undiscovered magic. It seems odd that there are only 5 schools. There should be at least 500. How else can you explain all the magical phenomena in this world? Doomstones, alchemy, and dragon shells, for instance. Those can't be categorized by any of the 5 schools.
Exactly. Why dumb things down for the novices? The more schools the better.
Yes, for instance, can you imagine being able to take courses here on Nord battle cries, metamorphosis, hiss-sap? An institution like this should welcome all forms of magical study, as well as the occult. It's one of my dreams to dissect a werebear.
Have you actually witnessed any strange phenomena?
Oh, all the time. Especially at the college where magical energy is strong. Floating objects like books, soul gems, and silverware for one.
Yeah, I've seen
you
that.
really have to watch where you're going or you might run your eye into a fork. Then there's the multiplying fruit. Master Dravis thinks the several hundred apples he found in his pillow was a prank. I think it was a rare form of spontaneous cloning. Clearly some type of plant-based magic, like an evolved form of alchemy.
I've actually seen floating mammoths and a guy floating in the air with his magic field, and he fell to earth with a bit of a thump. So that's using magic, right?
Of course. I bet in places like Valenward there are all sorts of carnivorous plants that use magic to capture their prey. Like a plant with invisible fangs on its fronds. Trapping birds and insects who stop to rest their weary wings. Or how about a talking plant who uses magic to mimic speech? A stamen is almost like a tongue. Then you get real close and the fangs chomp you. That is, if the mud monsters don't get you first. Plants must have some version of the undead, raised from the ground by magical spores and such.
Yeah, I'm interested besides magic.
Oh, plenty. Although they all sort of relate to magic in one way or another. For instance, I was trying to build a more secure coin purse by trapping your gold inside a soul gem.
Soul gem purse. Sounds complicated though.
Oh, yes. It was a bit tricky getting the conjuration trap to recognize inanimate objects as souls. but a dash of blood and harmonizing the resonance did it. The problem was getting the gold out. I tried enchanting a couple of wooden coins using the gem, but they lost the imperial markings.
Yeah. Your soul trap's strike when the shell is killed. How do you kill a coin?
You don't kill the coin, but the purse, and that's already dead. The coins inside are what mimic the properties of a soul. As long as the harmonic resonance is stable while they take flight, the trap will secure the coins into a soul gem. The trapping part's all rather elementary once you get the hang of it.
It's a much better defense against thieves than a locker bear trap, right enough.
Oh yes, which gives me another idea. Hanging bear traps would work much better than bone chimes. You'd need an invisibility spell to cloak them. The problem is the weight. Spells are transient, and the steed stone won't work on a thread. Frostbite spider webbing, maybe. Probably too difficult to harvest. What if we abandoned using gossamer altogether, but instead gave the traps wings? Is Arniel still around? He's the expert on dwarven magic.
Somewhere, probably sleeping. Interesting discussion. Right.
Until next time.
We Tulsi got woken up by us talking there, but anyway, he's awake, so...
Good to see you.
Right, have you ever heard of the Ogre of Dunlane?
Well now, there's a name I haven't heard in some time. My goodness, it's been years since I've spoken with him. I suppose he's still down in the Midden, but I haven't checked. Are you going to see him? Do tell him hello for me, won't you?
The Midden?
Underneath the college. It's not the nicest place, so if you go down there, please do be careful.
Okay. Tell him more about this ogre.
Well, I suppose he wouldn't mind. It was all before my time, you understand. I've heard the stories, the same as anyone else. He was a brilliant student, an accomplished wizard, delved into magic in a way none had seen before. But I think he became too focused on just how much power he could acquire. That's what led to the accident.
What accident?
Do you remember what I first told you? About how not being able to control magic could destroy you? I didn't simply mean it could kill you. The Augur's accident is another very real type of a life destroyed. Well, it's been described as an accident. I can't imagine it was intentional. Something must have gone wrong, and he ended up in the state he's in now, fused to the energies that flow through the college. I've never felt it appropriate to ask him about it, about how that must feel. Or I suppose, if he can feel at all.
Tell him more about words.
The key to wards is that they take time to charge. Not long, but you can't start casting with a fireball coming at you. Also, if your ward isn't negated by an incoming spell, it will recharge itself after a moment or two. Just be careful. Casting wards requires constant concentration, and you can easily find yourself drained of your magical reserves.
Interesting. Anything I could help with?
Well, yes. This is rather embarrassing, but it seems I've misplaced something. I seem to have misplaced the book I was reading. If you happen to see it, would you mind bringing it to me? All right, then.
Right, thank you, Tolfdir. Interesting. So other sort of a changed sort of being, is he? Well, apparently the drove steers direction led her to here, so let's have a look in what's called the Midden. Prison cell. Nephew, I apologise, I cannot see you personally before you leave. The trip from Third more restrictions this season around are about. And also a fine college at Winterhold, I'm sure you'll excel. You may know that attitude there. It's quite a coincidence that name to my own. I was sending you my notes on something called the Athenag Lodge, a original project like the one. Mention nothing to the faculty, but ask your fellow pupils about a place called Midden. You'll find the forge there, if you are a number of my notes are missing, scattered, or lost in our travelling sky. Perhaps you may stumble upon these adventures. The forge was exclusive, we built it with potential. Since eyebrows, so last days. Just roughly boxed it out. Souls and sapphire, needs also an amethyst. haven't discovered what that is actually for. What rings you need on it, etc. So.
Your perseverance will only lead to disappointment. Still, you persist. Very well. You may enter.
Oh, hang on a minute. The hell is this thing? So are you the Ogre of Dunlane then?
I am that which you have been seeking. Your efforts are in vain. It has already begun. But those who have sent you have not told you what they seek, what you seek.
And what is it I'm seeking?
You seek that which all who wield magic seek. Knowledge.
Aha.
You shall find this. Knowledge will corrupt. It will destroy. It will consume. You seek meaning, shelter in knowledge. You will not find it. The Thalmor sought the same thing, and it shall lead to his end, as it has so many others.
Yeah, I believe that's Ancano you're thinking of, eh? Ancano, yes?
The one who calls himself Ancano.
Yeah, I thought as much. She's up to something.
He seeks information about the Eye, but what he will find shall be quite different. His path will cross yours in time, but first you must find that which you need.
What do I need?
You, and those aiding you, wish to know more about the Eye of Magnus. You wish to avoid the disaster of which you are not yet aware. To see through Magnus's eye without being blinded, you require his staff. Events Now spiral quickly towards the inevitable center. So you must act with haste. Take this knowledge to your archmage.
Okay. Yeah, figured the Thalmor would be up to something. So not just an over, the advisor. I liked that guy from the start. What are you doing there?
What you learn here will last you a lifetime. Several, if you're talented.
Yeah, I've got some important information for you.
Really? And what might that be?
To find the Staff of Magnus.
I'm sorry, what? Well, I'd certainly love to have such a powerful staff, but I'm not really sure that any of us need it.
It's connected to that orb that they found.
And how do you know of this?
I spoke with Ogre of Dunlane.
Did you really? And he specifically mentioned the Staff of Magnus? I'm impressed with your initiative. Of course, someone will need to follow up on this.
So I take it you mean me then?
I certainly do. Since you went so far as to seek out the Augur for advice, I thought you'd be more enthusiastic. Something as specific and ancient as the Staff of Magnus. I'm not sure we'd ever find something like that. I seem to recall Mirabelle mentioning the staff somewhat recently. Why don't you see if she can tell you anything? I'm quite pleased with your progress, you know. You've certainly proven yourself to be more than a mere apprentice. Well done. This circlet once proved invaluable to me. I hope it can be of use to you now.
Circlet. Where is circlet? my hood, that's fine. So yeah. Let's just see it no more. Yeah. It's a mirror, really. What the hell are you up to? Apparently she's in the Hall of Countenance. Just around. All upstairs.
Oh, what happened?
What a dead god guard's doing in there. Yeah. Orb.
Please don't bother the Archmage unless it's absolutely necessary.
Well, that's me asking about the stuff of Magnus.
Well, now that's an odd question. Why in the world would you be asking?
It may be connected to the Eye of Magnus.
The Eye of Magnus? I can appreciate that this thing, this orb, it's very impressive. Very unique and definitely worth studying. But let's not jump to any conclusions or assign it importance beyond what we're certain of.
Well, the Ogre referred to it as Eye of Magnus, not me.
The Augur. Just what have you gotten yourself involved in? Whatever is going on, whatever you're up to, be very careful.
Sorry, so the stuff of Magnus.
Well, it's said to be very powerful. Has the capacity to store an incredible amount of magical power, as the story goes. But it's more myth than anything at this point. I've no doubt that it actually exists, but no one has seen it in, what, decades? Longer? I'm not sure. The only time I've heard it mentioned was when those Synod characters showed up some months ago looking for it.
The Synod?
Mages based out of Cyrodiil. They fancy themselves the imperial authority on magic these last few hundred years. My understanding is that all they really do is make noise in an attempt to curry favor from the Emperor. Lots of politics, little magic. I was quite surprised to find them on our doorstep. They seemed amiable enough, but their line of questioning made me uneasy. It became clear they're trying to hoard powerful artifacts, looking to consolidate power.
So no one knows where it is?
No one here does. The Synod seemed convinced it was somewhere in Skyrim. They inquired about the ruins of Mzulft, but that's all I remember. It sounded like they were heading there, though they were rather secretive about why. I suppose if you're intent on looking for the staff, there's a chance they might be in Mzulft yet. Just don't expect them to be cooperative.
Mzulft. Okay. Right. Looks like it's off to Mzulft then. Wonder who they were looking for, eh? So they won't like bargain for in here anyway. Let's go that way. Well, let's go and get the party together. And head off.